Welcome back to Grasping the Gridiron. As always, I'm your host, Zach Thummel, and thank you for listening. Today, we'll go over the Boise State Broncos and their team preview for the 2025 season. I'll go and predict the schedule game by game and give my analysis there, and I'll also predict the top performers on offense and defense for the Broncos. And then we'll finish up with the team identity and just predict some schematics for the Broncos on offense and defense. So we'll start off here with the schedule, as always, and go game by game, and I'll give you my score breakdown and prediction. So on August 28th, actually tomorrow, Thursday, Boise State travels to South Florida, and they'll play the Bulls there down in Tampa Bay. And so that will be a pretty unique matchup, American versus the Mountain West, soon-to-be Pac-12 Broncos. And while this will be the first game of the season for both teams, and will be a fun, potentially really hot and humid matchup down there in Tampa Bay, there's just no way that South Florida is going to beat the Broncos. I think that Boise State's going to be one of the best teams in the group of five, and could be a contender for that final playoff position. And here early, I think Spencer is going to have these guys ready to go. So I have the Broncos winning 24-14. And then for the second game for the Broncos, the Eastern Washington Eagles come to Boise, and in this one, I'm having the Broncos win this one 31-13. Eastern Washington's always a decent FCS team and one that can compete at the national level in the FBS, but this one I'm not overthinking it at all. The Broncos are taking this one on the Big Blue. And then September 20th on a Saturday, the Broncos travel to Air Force, and this will be a fun matchup for the last sort of military academy run and Mountain West Conference run, so to speak, for Air Force, and it'll be fun to see what the future holds for Air Force. But it looks like they're kind of the team in the Mountain West moving forward. But in this one, the military academy is not going to have enough to get it done against the Broncos. I've got them taking it 30-16 and starting out the season 3-0. And then on Saturday, September 27th, the Appalachian State Mountaineers come from Boone, North Carolina to Boise State, and will take on the Broncos there in Boise on the Big Blue. App State is a really solid Sun Belt team, and really earned their run and their movement up to the FBS. But Boise State's going to be at home here, and I have them taking this one 34-17 behind their disciplined run game, which is going to be a theme all year in terms of being able to just get easy points on the board with Zaire gains. And then October 4th, Saturday as well, the Broncos travel to South Bend, Indiana to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And this one's probably could have the potential to be a blowout. While I really like Boise State and what they're going to do in the Mountain West, and they're going to be a solid program moving forward in the Pac-12, I think this year's going to be somewhat could be a potential of a down year in terms of talent for them. I don't think that's going to reflect on the schedule, just because of outside of this game and a couple others, it's a really easy schedule. But this one, I think, is going to be a punch in the face for Boise State, as Notre Dame is really going to be contending for the national championship, and I think Jeremiah Love is going to go berserk in this game. So I have the Fighting Irish taking this one 35-10. And then on Saturday, October 11th, the New Mexico Lobos travel up to Boise State and will take on the Broncos on the blue turf. And this is going to be a really fun matchup because the former Idaho Vandals head coach, Jason Eck, is now at New Mexico. And I think New Mexico is going to be a well-oiled machine under him. So, while this one is in Boise, I think the New Mexico Lobos give the Broncos a run for their money here. And I think they end up, coming within a touchdown. And I really, had thoughts about picking this New Mexico team to beat Boise State, just given the talent jump and increase that Eck would have and the fire that he would have being from the University of Idaho, just lit under him. But I have the Broncos taking this one 28-21 at home and escaping narrowly against Jason Eck and the Lobos. And then next comes Saturday, October 18th. The UNLV Rebels come up to the blue turf. And this one is going to be another close one, back-to-back weeks. UNLV is going to be one of the better Mountain West teams. They struggled in week 0 against Idaho State. But I think once they sort of figure out their identity offensively and can fix up some things on the defense where they were getting gashed by Idaho State on screens, which is just, I think, week 1 or week 0 stuff in this case. But the Broncos and the Rebels are going to be contending for that Mountain West title. And in this one, I have the Broncos at home winning 30-24 here. And this puts the Broncos at 6-1 on the season. And now Friday, October 24th, a Friday game here. The Broncos travel down to Reno, Nevada, and will take on the Nevada Wolfpack. And this one is gonna be just a kind of a potential for Boise State to really blow this one out of the water. But I'm going conservative here since Nevada is at home, so I'm giving Nevada 14 points, but I'm going 38-14 Nevada here, or 38-14 Boise State against Nevada at Nevada, and putting the Broncos to 7-1 on the season. Then after that, the Broncos will face the Fresno State Bulldogs. The Bulldogs will travel up to the Big Blue on Saturday, November 1st. And in this one, I think it's going to be a really, really tight matchup. And I think Boise State's going to get caught resting on their laurels here a little bit at 7-1, kind of potentially looking past Fresno State. But I see Fresno State as a really, really formidable opponent in the Mountain West, and one that it could win the Mountain West as well. And I just think Boise State is going to have a weaker team this year. I don't think they did enough to address their vacancies. And obviously Ashton Genty's one, but there are a variety of other guys, especially throughout the offensive line. And I think that this team is going to take a step back from last year, and that doesn't necessarily mean much in terms of overall record. But and this, like I said earlier, this schedule is easy, but I think this is going to be their first shocking loss here. So I have the Fresno State Bulldogs winning 21-14 on the blue turf. And then November 15th, the Broncos travel down to San Diego State to face the Aztecs in Snapdragon Stadium. And in this one, I think San Diego State is going to take advantage of a hurt mentally Broncos team, and a team that's was excited and had college football playoff hopes. And I think those will come down crumbling in November. And I think San Diego State's going to take advantage of that at home and win by a game-winning field goal in this scenario, 24-21 here. And so this puts the Broncos now at 7-3 on the season. And then Saturday, November 22nd, the Colorado State Rams will travel to Boise and will face the Broncos. And in this one, I've got Boise State winning by 2 scores. Spencer's gonna have the Broncos ship righted here to finish out the season, and so that puts them at 8-3 on the year. And the final game of the season is November 28th, which is a Friday game at Utah State in Logan, Utah. And this one, I think the Broncos are, going to finish this season strong and are really going to be riled up to potentially increase their bowl game chances and what bowl game they're going to play in. And so I have them winning on the road 34-20, finishing the season 9-3 in Boise. Now for my predictions for the top performers for the Boise State Broncos. And this year is going to be interesting because immediately Ashton Genty on the offense is gone, and so when you look at the offense, it's going to be how are they going to A, replace that production, and then B, what are they going to do in the pass game to sort of go make their offense more versatile and go away from that one-dimensional element. And this is where I'm really struggling to see what they're going to do offensively and how great they're going to be. I think their strength relies on their defense. So it'll just be really interesting to see what this Broncos team and what Spencer can dial up with this group on the blue turf. But my first offensive top performer, my prediction for the offensive top performer for the Broncos is Latrell Caples, the wideout. He's coming off of a 38 reception season for 473 yards and 5 touchdowns, 12.4 average. So he was a very productive guy within that Boise State offense, all things considered, with how much Ashton Genty was involved and how much they were using play action and hitting tight ends off of what Genty was doing. So I think that this is going to be an exciting year for Caples, and he could have a breakout year, maybe push that close to 750, within the 750 to 1,000 yard range, and then maybe the 10 touchdown range, just with an increased role this year, and will probably be Maddox Matson's number one target in the pass game. And moving to our second player on offense, it's Sire Gaines, the running back, who's gonna most likely be the bell cow in replacing Ashton Genty. But I think this team will do it by committee over the year and get multiple guys involved on the ground. But Gaines is someone that when Genty wasn't in the game, he had some bright spots. First and foremost, the game against Georgia Southern last year, he had 120 yards right out of high school. So it's pretty cool to see that, and then obviously Genty did what he did, and we know that story. But it's pretty cool to see a guy like that behind him. And 100 of those 120 yards were a bulk majority of what he got on the season. And he only had 156 yards and a touchdown last year, only 20 carries last year on the whole year. So that just really shows you, when you start with a 120-yard game, most running backs would continue to get the ball, but that just shows you how dominant Genty was last year and just how one-dimensional that offense was. So hopefully, Gaines in the committee can replace some of that production. Now moving to defense, the first guy is Jaden Virgin Morgan, the edge rusher. He's a really experienced player and one that I think NFL teams and NFL scouts are going to look to be, he could potentially sneak up on some boards and be a guy this year depending on what he does. And last year, he's coming off of a pretty productive season, or not pretty productive, really productive season, 10 sacks and 40 total tackles with the Broncos. So he's going to be a guy that in this year could, increase that sack total. But if he gets right around there, he'll have the NFL looking his way. And came back to help this team on the blue and potentially right that ship after, last year's college football playoff loss. The next guy is Mark Notriani, middle linebacker for the Broncos, and he had 33 solo tackles and 3.5 sacks last year. And it's funny, when I was doing my research on these players, both Jaden Virgin Morgan and Marco were from San Diego. So I thought that was, an interesting relation on that defense there. But these two are going to be the keys to this defense, because I think stopping if they're going to be able to A, stop the run with Marco, and then B, get after the passer on those third down situations. That's where Jaden comes in. So it'll be fun to watch these two lead this defense this year, and hopefully they can capitalize on a great opportunity with the Broncos this year. Now on to the team identity. For offense, this is where it's going to be really intriguing, but also I bring some bad news because Maddox Madsen kind of last year, in my opinion, he hampered their ability to really potentially be great and take that next step when they face the Penn States and the Oregons of the world. I'm not sure Madsen's the guy to take them to where they want to go, and I think Boise State fans know that long term. But it's also a cause for concern when Genty's not there now, and more of the onus is put on Madsen to make stuff happen. So, the team identity for this offense is going to be the run game and the play action. And it's really going to be I think the run game is going to be there, but it's going to be on Madsen to create that healthy separation there where the teams don't look at them through a one-dimensional lens. And Madsen's going to, by making great decisions early and, just not forcing stuff, Madsen's going to make it a lot easier later in the game when they need to run the ball to close out games. So that will be the team identity and just some things to watch for the offense for Boise State. And to finish up here on the defense for Boise State and the Broncos, the team identity here is going to be Jaden Virgin Morgan and rushing the passer. And if you can get after the passer and the offense can kind of play keep away and time management, but then also have a play action game and have Madsen make good decisions. This team, I mean, I know I picked them to go 9-3, but if they do those things that I mentioned, they could very easily go 11-1 and potentially challenge Notre Dame. But I don't see them, beating the likes of Notre Dame, and I see them losing, a couple games this year against teams that can scheme against them. So if Jaden Virgin Morgan can get after the passer, he can potentially just game wreck and help propel Boise State to a great record this year and contend for the Mountain West Championship. But yeah, so the team identity for the defense is getting after the passer.